and welcome to our humble stratified garage here. And what I want to show you today is actually an intercooler upgrade for the Mark 7 MQB vehicles. Now, on a turbocharged vehicle, you can never have too much cooling. Cooler air means denser air, means more oxygen getting into your combustion chamber, and that means ultimately more power. So one of the ways that you're going to cool air coming from a compressor, which heats the air, is through an intercooler. Now, this is our Alltrack, and the Alltrack has, or had rather, this intercooler in place. So this is an OEM GTI or Alltrack Mark 7 intercooler, and I want you to take note of the thickness of the core and just the overall size of the core that you're dealing with. Okay, it's very light, which is a plus for these OEM intercoolers, but they are not a great heat sink. And what that means is that if you're staging at a light for a drag race, or just the vehicle does not get all that much airflow across the core, it's not going to be able to dissipate that heat. It needs a lot of airflow. This is from a Golf R. It's actually from our development Golf R, and you can see that the OEM already thought that, okay, Golf R has a higher output, so therefore they went with a larger core. Okay, so it's a thicker core. I know it's got this little air guide here on top, but it is a thicker core, and you can see that it's also got a higher fin density, and it is a little bit heavier than a GTI or a TSI core. Now here is our stratified intercooler, and there's one inside there as well. This is a significantly larger heatsink, significantly heavier, and the heaviness of the core, or the weight of the core, is really your only downside to upgrading to something like this. So what you're doing here is you've got a larger volume for the air to travel through, which means that you're going to have less pressure drop, which is again good. The less pressure drop across your entire intake system, the more efficient your turbo is going to be. You also have a lot more mass here. Weight, that means mass, and that means that it's going to be able to dissipate the heat from the turbocharger a lot more effectively than an OEM core. This thing just barely fits as a direct fitted replacement, so it's as big as you can get. It also comes with your charge pipes. You get rid of these OEM ones and you use the upgraded silicone ones, and it is a drop-in replacement. There's a little bit of work involved, of course. All good things require work, but at the end of this upgrade, you're going to have a more efficient turbocharger and an overall more efficient vehicle that is going to perform better, and we're going to see that on the dyno. So this car has our STR38 turbo already in it, so it does have an upgraded turbocharger. It doesn't have the IS12 that the car originally came with, and we're going to show you guys also in terms of power numbers how this makes a difference. But key takeaway, more cooling, better flow, always a good thing for a turbocharged car. The question I'm trying to answer today is, what can you expect from an intercooler upgrade? Of course, you have all the gains from the cooling benefits, the more repeatable runs, all of that, but what does it mean in terms of power? So we got the car on the dyno, we made a couple of tweaks to the tune, and here are the results. So first of all, you notice that these darker lines are the ones with the intercooler. You'll notice that torque rises quicker, and overall spool is faster. That's because the intercooler flows better, so it allows for the turbo to build boost quicker, which is a bonus. On top of that, the peak torque in this region here has risen by almost 30 foot-pounds, 25 to 30 foot-pounds. It tapers off, the gains taper off a little bit in this area, and then you realize some more gains in the very top end where you've got another 10 to 12 wheel horsepower. The overall power that the car is putting out is just under 320 wheel with this configuration. So we've got the STR38 turbo, we've got an intake, we've got our intercooler, and we've got a downpipe, still stock catback. But really the biggest thing that's going to hold you back in this car is none of those things. There's actually power and potential left on the table, but fuel pressure. So this green line that you see right here is the HPFP dropping pressure. And that's what's limiting us to make more power in this region here. And then at the very top, when it starts to recover a little bit, then we run into the knock limitation of the 93 fuel. Now, of course, you can run ethanol blends on the car. However, because with ethanol you do have to inject more fuel, this will result in an even steeper drop in fuel pressure. So you gotta consider that. As far as fuel upgrades for these cars, the 1.8Ts, so you could swap in the HPFP from a 2-liter, so that's an option. You can swap in injectors from a Golf R, and you can do MPI. So Cobb does not actually directly support MPI on the 1.8T ECU, but Ecutech does, and a few others do. So those are kind of your options to go beyond this point. The turbo is honestly a perfect size for this 1.8T. It spools right at 3,200 RPM. I wouldn't go much bigger unless you have, certain ET goals or drag racing goals or anything like that. So this is a really good Turbo R STR38 for this vehicle. And the intercooler allows you to kind of maximize all that and make sure it's repeatable. And once again, all this is brought together by tuning. So throwing on parts gets you the hardware on, but remember that tuning really gets you the optimized results. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll get you more updates as we work through them, but this highlights just what the intercooler does, and of course our extra cool intercooler for the car. Until next time, cheers.